Okay, welcome to Virtual Reality 2023 International Disability Rights and Affirmation Conference. Let's see. I am Bruce Main, and I have a stroke, aphasia, and epilepsy about 10 years ago. I really love dances and going to live music conferences. Right now, in real life, I am a network engineer and I am living in Lisbon, Maine, USA. Today, I would like to introduce Joseph English. Was a successful entrepreneur and an award-winning stone carver when his life changed dramatically in an issue. His car wreck left him fighting for his life. He was only giving 24 hours to live by the doctors who initially treated him, but now he lives as a quadriplegic 6 years later. Audience, please welcome and hold your answer that question and comments to the end. We will not interrupt our presenter, who is new to Second Life. So, welcome, Mr. English. The floor is now yours.
Hello everyone, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we hear you. Sound great.
Lovely to speak to you all today. Okay, so this is our first virtual presentation. We've done one or two before this. Thank you for giving us the opportunity, but please do go easy on me. I will explain in brief what we will be discussing in this presentation to help people with spinal injuries. We're going to talk a little bit about my accident, a little bit about rehabilitation, QuadRebuild and our future goals, a little bit about my story without bragging, and a little bit about my book. In the next slide, we are just giving you some of the facts from the UK. Some of you may already know more about spinal injuries than others, so here are some facts on the screen for you. We are only a charity, but with a huge ambition to help the estimated 2,500 people that are injured or diagnosed with spinal injury in the UK each year. There are so many people out there waiting for the chance to rebuild their lives, and with everybody's support, this is something we aim to reach. Moving on to my story, slide 3. I did always have a tendency to take things apart and rebuild them, hence working in construction. Prior to my accident and following in my dad's footsteps, I built a successful construction company up. I had a formidable work ethic instilled in me from a young age, and I found a real passion for construction. I was a perfectionist and always tried to be the best at what I did, and I believe that this is carried forward in my later life. a spinal cord injury. I started to contemplate how I could help other patients in the spinal unit at the time of rehabilitation to rebuild their lives and accept their youth. I'm going to play the video, James.
Team leader Tony and the rest of the heart medics will prepare Joe to be taken to hospital immediately after he's anaesthetised.
We'll play the video sprint as well, and we'll do it at the same time as we scoop him.
All we've got is the van that's overturned. As for the reason of the van overturning, we don't know yet, because it looks like a single vehicle that's been involved. 2 people inside. One is walked off and got into an ambulance by himself. The other gentleman is got head injury, along with some other injuries that we're not quite sure about just now. So there's a doctor on scene from Helimed, and he's chosen to do the rapid sequence induction, so he's going to intubate the patient. So to do it safely, we're going to set up 40 mile an hour aside and then assist in ventilating and securing his airway. They're setting it up just where Trolley is now. They're going to do it so he's head up road, so they want it setting on his right hand side, so our left hand side as you're going up road. All right.
Okay. Sorry, buddy, can I just pinch you for a second? Just hold this in place, is that all right?
Time is of the essence. Medics fear Joe has a significant bleed on the brain. There's a danger it's creating pressure inside his head. It can kill in minutes.
Right then, and then very, very quickly, I'll just bob that one up there.
An anaesthetic will slow the bleeding down and could be the difference between life and death.
At this time, single vehicle travelling towards Halifax is in collision with the central reservation. It appears to flip over, hitting tree, and then pushing another car into a further tree.
Whatever the cause, the impact of the crash has left Joe fighting for his life.
He's had a pre-hospital anaesthetic, which they'll maintain all the way to the major trauma centre. I believe he's going to Leeds at this time. So they'll keep him in an anaesthetised state to manage predominantly his head injury, so his intracranial pressure and his CO2 that they'll manage through ventilation. Once he gets into hospital, then obviously he'll go off for the most appropriate scans, try and figure out exactly what's going on. And obviously, if it's appropriate, he'll then go off and have surgery.
Joe has suffered catastrophic injuries. The trauma team is standing by at Leeds General Infirmary and will do all they can to save his life.
Hello everyone. So did you enjoy the video? I know it's not the best of videos, but it depicts quite a great part of showcasing the accident. Anyway, moving on to the accident. I fell asleep as a passenger against the door without a seatbelt on. My brother fell asleep and veered off into a tree. We was only going 36 miles an hour, but the van flipped onto its side and smashed into the back of the parked car. Luckily for me, a fire engine was going to an emergency in the opposite direction, and they managed to stop and pull me out of the vehicle to perform CPR. With darkness upon us, all of the emergency services had to pull together to incubate me at the scene. It was a winter's evening. I was then airlifted to Leeds General Royal Infirmary, and I cannot thank the emergency services enough for saving my life, as I do not think I would be here today if it wasn't for their quick actions and responses. It was around 2 weeks that I was in a coma, and in this time my family was informed that I would be paralysed for the rest of my life and have no ability to speak, eat or drink myself again. At this stage, my family were asked if they wanted to keep the life support machine on, to which they obviously said yes. And thankfully enough for myself, Here I am today, extremely grateful for the decisions my family made. The next slide is going to talk a little bit about rehabilitation and introduction to QuadRebuild. So it was a very traumatic experience being a long-term patient in intensive care. I was in intensive care for 7 weeks. Usually people are in there for a matter of days after passing, or 1 to 2 weeks, and then moved on to another ward. Moving to Princess Royal Spinal Injury Unit was a very difficult transition for me. Moving from 1-to-1 care at the intensive care unit to 4-to-1 care was very challenging, mentally and physically. How does a person go from being in control of their whole life to then feeling helpless and dependent on others for everything else? Despite this, those closest to me refused to give up and stood by my side. And without them, I don't think I would have the resilience and attitude today to keep going. Seeing all this lit a siren find me, all the other patients in the unit, I realised that my experience was transitioning from a personal battle to a source of inspiration for those with spinal injuries. I believe that my story and that of QuadRebuild is not a story of my survival, but one of hope and resilience for anyone fighting through adversity. Therefore, and following on from this, with myself and fellow inpatients struggling to understand our new way of life, I was inspired to develop the 4 key mottos that QuadRebuild stand by today. These are rebuilding lives, rebuilding homes, rebuilding your image to rebuild your future. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about those mottos and how I believe they support people effectively. First of all, I would just like to say the hospital did become a comfort blanket for me, and at first it was difficult to get used to. You then become that used to it that you don't want to leave, and it's a terrifying thought. I owe huge appreciation to the hospital staff, my friends and family, and the care team that all pulled together to help me leave home, help me leave the comfort zone I felt protected in to arrive home. Andy from Spinal Injury Association in the UK was my support coordinator, an essential part of my rehabilitation. However, I did feel like all the support coordinators was too old and maybe not having anyone current to give me their recent life experience was difficult. I also wanted to better my education anyway, so I continued with my own personal growth. I enrolled on a master's degree in business administration, which I successfully graduated from in September 2021 with a merit. During this time, and with great support from my trustees, we successfully obtained the charity number in June 2021. I do still attend SIA meetings, and it is a hope that QuadRebuild can fill gaps between the amazing support that is offered through SIA and other spinal injury charities. Next, we're going to talk about a bit of work that QuadRebuild can support people and about myself. My personal journey has taken some time, and there has been many struggles. I now feel accomplished and are ready to grow QuadRebuild into the source and hope of inspiration that I believe it can be. There are 4 mottos created, and with these, it all starts with a bespoke, tailored plan for each person. Our goal is to liberate individuals from constraints and establish a lifelong mental health support resource. Life presents various triggers at times, and we aim to be that constant guide and coach, providing a lifeline of support at any juncture. For home adaptations, demands are significant, and the financial resources towards these are massive. This is a facet that our charity is currently growing. In the immediate future, we're focusing on vital adaptations like ramps, wet rooms, kitchen modifications for clients with spinal injuries, which we believe are crucial for enhancing the mobility around a person's home. I'm just having a drink, guys, so we can have a drink. Self-acceptance embraces self-image and self-confidence, which varies from person to person. Personally, I refrained from looking in the mirror for the first 3 months. I felt disgusted at my image and the new me. What we would like to do is empower individuals by offering hairstyles and beauty therapists to restore their confidence in mental well-being post spinal cord injury whilst in rehabilitation or outside. Negative outlooks can be transformed into positive mindsets through acceptance of your new self with support from our charity. Rebuilding Your Future unites all other mottos, extending community support post-rehabilitation. We foster social connections among quadriplegic and paraplegic individuals, supporting people in public settings such as food shopping, medical appointments, going out and breaks away. We aim to alleviate the challenges faced and restore the confidence to carry out everyday activities which are often taken for granted in day-to-day life by able-bodied people. With this targeted and holistic approach, we can help people to rebuild people's futures. And we have recently begun providing this support for a few of our clients in the Halifax area. Starting from home, we feel is key. The first of many people also that QuadRebuild will assist in rebuilding their lives. Now next, we're going to move on to the next slide, guys, to have a little bit of a talk about the book. Regarding my situation, I live every day to its absolute fullest and genuinely believe that the accident has changed my purpose in life. That'll do. No matter what the level of a person's ability, we are here to remind them of their values and show them their potential. It would be great for you to check out our book, the link to which you can find by clicking on the box at my feet. Here are the reasons why I feel my book stands out from the rest. The book is a more in-depth, detailed look at my story, accident and the events that led up to founding of QuadRebuild. The book tells a story of lived experience from myself at each stage of my journey, but also gives accounts from over 20 specialists from everyone involved in my life at the moment of the accident right through to the present day. This includes physiotherapists, occupational therapists, surgeons, psychologists, friends, families, absolutely every outlook, what can be spoken about. Please thank you for taking the time and to listening to my presentation. I do apologise if I've been a bit stuttery. Please see our media pages and website on screen. Again, if you can click on the box at my feet, you can find the links to our website and social media pages. I would like to say that we are not here to duplicate any support provided by other spinal injury charities. Our motto was developed by identifying vital support requirements in the spinal unit from that of inpatients and my own personal journey. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us.
Do we have any questions for Joseph? We have a couple minutes before our next presenters. Great job, Joseph. That was fantastic. Well, thank you, Joseph, for sharing your story. What an amazing perspective you have and bring to others. Great job on presenting here in the virtual world. And thank you again for being here to inform and inspire us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.